Today, I invite you to listen carefully, just as our elders taught us. I shall talk about Kigambi, a clever little duck who never turned away from a friend. But when a greedy king refused to return his money, Kigambi set off on an adventure to get it back, with some surprising help along the way. How can a ladder, a river, and a beehive help him teach the king a lesson? Come hear this exciting and funny story about kindness, courage, and the power of friendship. As you listen to this story, think about: how did Kigambi's kindness in making friends help him in the end? Why did the king refuse to pay back the money, and what lesson did he learn? If you were Kigambi, would you have accepted the role of a king? Why or why not? Are you ready to listen? Here we go. A long time ago, there lived a duck, Bata, who sounded different from the other ducks and was therefore called Kigambi. Kigambi was good at saving money and even lent it to others. One day, Kigambi lent some money to a king, Mudhamaki, but the king did not return it. Kigambi became annoyed and decided that the king must pay him back. Determined, Kigambi picked up a sack and started his journey to the king's palace. On his way, he met a ladder, Ngadi. The ladder asked Kigambi where he was going, and Kigambi replied that he was on his way to the king's palace to ask for his money. The ladder asked if it could join him, and Kigambi cheerfully said, "Can anyone have enough friends?" The ladder joined him and climbed into the sack. As Kigambi continued, he met a river, Rui. The river was also asked where he was headed, and Kigambi gave the same reply. The river asked if it could accompany him, and Kigambi once again said, "Can anyone have enough friends?" The river joined him and slid into the sack. Further along, Kigambi met a beehive, Mwatu. When the beehive asked where he was going, Kigambi explained that he was heading to the king's palace to ask for his money. The beehive requested to join him, and Kigambi replied, "Can anyone have enough friends?" The beehive agreed and went into the sack as well. When Kigambi arrived at the king's palace, he told the guards that he had come to demand his money from the king. The guards informed the king, who became angry and ordered his soldiers to throw Kigambi into a dungeon. The dungeon was dark and deep, with no way out. But Kigambi whispered into the sack, and the ladder climbed out. Kigambi placed it against the dungeon wall and quickly climbed up and escaped through a narrow window. Later, the king decided to have Kigambi thrown into a large pot over a fire. As the fire burned, Kigambi called out to the river inside the sack to help him. The river flowed out and put out the fire, allowing Kigambi to escape unharmed. The king became furious and ordered his soldiers to bring Kigambi closer to him. Just as the king was about to strike Kigambi, the duck called out to the beehive. The bees swarmed out of the sack and began stinging the king. In a panic, the king ran away as fast as he could, and no one ever saw him again. Afterward, the soldiers and guards asked Kigambi if he would like to become their king. Kigambi simply replied, "Can anyone have enough friends?" He was dressed in royal attire and seated on the throne. The end. Did you enjoy the story? Our elders always taught that stories are not just for listening, they are for learning. This story teaches us about the power of wisdom and persistence. Kigambi did not give up on what was rightfully his. The value of friendship and community. He welcomed others on his journey, and together they overcame challenges. The idea that leaders should be just and fair. Unlike the selfish king, Kigambi proved that wisdom is a greater strength than power. In Kikuyu tradition, stories were told in the evenings when the day's work was done and families gathered around the fire. The elders, as the keepers of wisdom, passed down these stories to ensure that each generation learned the values of our people. Today, I share this story with you in that same spirit, so that we may continue to honor our past while shaping our future. Newega muno na tuonane. Thank you very much and see you again.